Welcome to Voice First TV. I'm here at the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center in San Francisco, California. We have Voice of the Car Summit, and I'm excited to introduce you to somebody that I get to be around and work with on a regular basis, Adam, who does the Senior Venture Analysis at the Runway Innovation Hub. And that is where I work oftentimes when I'm in San Francisco on new entrepreneurial projects or mentoring some of the people there. And I'm just kind of a entrepreneur that's been around for a while there. And I always enjoy seeing you, Adam. We were talking and geeking out on voice. You know, I said, oh, you got to come to this event. He said, I have the perfect person to bring up and introduce you to from Mosaics. So Adam, introduce yourself, maybe a bit about Runway and our guest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, so Runway, we call ourselves an innovation hub because we really do a lot of different things. So one side of our business is what you do, what you're involved in, on the startup side, running events, hosting things like this. Usually hosting something like this out of our space, but
right.
No hard feelings. Just kidding.
You guys have construction.
Right. That is fair, yeah. Once the dust settles, literally. So then we have our corporate innovation services where we consult with large corporations on investments and partnerships with innovative startups. So I'm on that side of the business, helping identify promising startups for investments and partnership opportunities. And that's how we came across Mosaics. So this is Esther from Mosaics. I'll just let you kind of introduce your company, what does you all do, and how you're a part of it.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for giving me this chance. I'm with Mosaics, and we are building language AI platforms. And so what that actually translates into are a bunch of APIs that we're developing so that our customers can build voice assistants in other languages other than English and Chinese. So kind of the big players are all covering the developed world pretty well. And what our customers have been asking us for is help in building this assistance and voice use cases for the other countries around the world. And so we've developed APIs for Spanish, for Vietnamese, for Hindi, for Bengali, and the list kind of goes on from there. So it's been a pretty interesting run for us, and so we're building more and more languages, more and more domains, and helping to kind of fulfill that need that we've seen in the market.
Well, Mosaics, the name makes a lot of sense in context of what you just shared. And so how long has Mosaics been around? And I don't know if you said what your role is. Are you the founder and CEO of Mosaics?
So I'm part of the team on the operational side doing business development and marketing for them. And the founders are actually the main founder, Suman Liu. He came out of Apple, and he was one of the original guys who was taking the Apple Maps pipeline and funneling that into Series. And then our other founder worked over at Cisco and IoT. And so the two of them kind of came together and started looking at voice. And then we added a guy from Google who had been focusing on search and assistant named Yi Lau. And he has been focusing a lot on this methodology called weak supervision learning and weak unsupervised machine learning. And so what that does is actually enable us to create training models with much lower cost. So instead of hiring all these very bright but sometimes very expensive engineers and linguists, we can actually do that through computers and pick up new languages. And so it's pretty exciting for us as a startup to be able to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Adam, why don't you ask a question?
For sure, yeah. Just curious to understand a little bit better. So what sort of, where do you see some of the biggest opportunities where maybe the major players or industry incumbents have overlooked? Like which countries, which languages? Yeah,
I think that it's not a question of being overlooked. It's just the opportunity is so large. Voice is really the happening everywhere, and so there's just limited resources in terms of where you can go, how many features you can do, and voice, as we all know, the experience is so important, and nailing that correctly has been difficult enough just even in English, right? And they're making huge leaps in terms of technology, the conversational piece, and so I think they're still building all of that out for their languages. We kind of have the ability to kind of see what is being done here and then take that and go and build that for other countries, which are kind of on their roadmap, but maybe not as, kind of at a secondary level because the markets might be smaller or the population set is smaller. What is kind of a smaller opportunity for them is actually a good size opportunity for us. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about like this, your what was it? Weak. This is above my pay grade. Weak AI, weak unsupervised. Okay, weak unsupervised machine learning.
Yes.
So like, how's that different from what everybody else is doing? Like, how does that enable you guys to develop it at such a lower cost? Because that's one of the highest. That's one of the main barriers of ML development, right? It's incredibly expensive to hire these engineers.
Right. So I think traditionally it was what is called fully supervised machine learning, and so you would have like lots of people creating rules and setting those up in order to train your models. And so it would be very specific, and over time, people have been able to kind of step out of all of these very specific rules and add in more kind of computer-assisted learning. But oftentimes, because people, other players in the market, they were set up a certain way, and so there's still a lot of like legacy or certain methodologies that are already in place. So it's hard to kind of rip and replace. And so, we are kind of in a different place just because we're new and we're starting up. I think at this point, everybody is migrating to have a mixture of, kind of both fully supervised as well as unsupervised. But it's kind of like, what does that mixture look like, and what does that look like in terms of cost and resources? And so that's where I think we have a unique advantage.
Wow, so it sounds like you've like really built this thing from the ground up to be, flexible, modular, so you can just, be more agile than those other players and bring in new languages, bring in new skills.
Right.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, because that's our only choice, right? Otherwise, it would take us a long time, and we don't have that on our side.
I'm grateful the two of you could join me. How would people get a hold of Mosaics? Are you still raising?
So we are, we're, kind of always
Startups
open.
are always raising.
Yes, so we're always open
So how would they get a hold of you or the key person to find out, either from like a biz dev perspective, partnerships, clients, or potential interest in what you're doing?
Yeah,
let people know where.
So my name is Esther Lee, so it's ESTHER. Lee is LEE, and Mosaics is MOSAIX for the AI experience, and it's at .ai instead of .com. So
awesome.
Look me up.
Thank you for both of you joining me. Hey, I see you. Want to play catch? Here it comes.